What's up, guys? It's Patricia from TarantulaHeaven.com, and I have Spidey here with me. I hope that she does something cool for you guys today, but who knows? She kind of just does whatever she wants. Today we're going to talk about tarantula webs. A common question that I get from beginners especially is they message me worried about their new tarantula because they're not making any webs, and they're comparing their spider to what they've seen on the internet, and they're either disappointed or worried, and they're thinking that something's wrong with their tarantula. So today we're going to talk about that. If you're new to this channel and you just happen to stumble upon me, thank you for clicking on the video. I make tarantula videos every single week, as well as a Tarantula Tuesday newsletter. So if you're into that, you can subscribe or follow the links below so that you can get on that newsletter list and get updated whenever I put something new out. But anyway, back to the discussion about tarantula webs. So yes, a lot of people have the misconception that a tarantula is going to make the same webs as regular spiders, like those geometrical, beautiful, intricate webs that they put all over the place, or they're comparing maybe their beginner tarantula or like a more terrestrial tarantula to like web pictures of an arboreal tarantula or more exotic tarantula that's a heavy webber. So we're going to kind of talk about that. So as I mentioned before, a tarantula's web is way different than a regular spider's web. Even the tarantulas that are heavy webbers, their webs don't look anything like the geometrical patterns that we're used to seeing. So I feel like that's a big misconception when you are first getting into the tarantula hobby. But that does not mean that they're any less beautiful or any less special. So the design of a tarantula's web kind of depends on the species. Like a lot of terrestrial tarantulas, like Spidey, for example, she is a Chilean rosehair. She doesn't really web too much. I mean, she does have times where she will kind of like make a web carpet all over her tank, but this happens very slowly. She doesn't do it all in one go. She kind of works away at it. And she goes through periods where she doesn't want to web at all. And a lot of, especially beginner tarantulas are like this. And that doesn't mean that, there won't be times where she's webbing a lot. She's definitely gone through periods like that before. But on a regular basis, there's a lot of tarantulas that don't really make a lot of webs. There are times that I really can't even see Spidey's webs until, because they're just so thin. And this is the case with many tarantulas. Until I like move her dirt a little bit to clean, and then I notice that it's all connected. So a lot of times they're webbing and you also can't see it. So they're not as visible as other spiders, or, some of them are not as visible as heavier webbers. But, they all go through phases too. I mean, there's been times where Spidey webs like a big corner of her tank really thick, and she kind of lays on it and stuff. She's also made a really thick web to seal off her log once and like filled it with dirt so that I couldn't see her. So tarantulas do lots of weird stuff with their webs. And don't get discouraged because you don't see webs immediately, especially when you're getting a new tarantula and it just started getting into its home. A lot of them need time to like settle down. They won't want to eat. They'll be kind of skittish and scared. So especially when you first get one, don't expect to see webs right away. That might happen and that's great, but usually I think they need some time to adjust before they start acting like tarantulas. But a lot of tarantulas are big webbers. For example, green bottle blue tarantulas, avics are heavy webbers. A lot of arboreal tarantulas are very heavy webbers. OBTs are heavy webbers. So if you're looking for a tarantula who's going to make these crazy intricate webs that they'll make their homes out of, definitely look for more of those types and do some research about the type of tarantula that you are trying to get, as well as what will be more suitable for the level of tarantula owner that you are, whether you're a beginner or intermediate or more advanced / expert. Not that that should discourage you from the learning process, but we do want to make sure that we're prepared for the type of tarantula that we're going to get and educated about their behaviors, like what kind of webbing behavior does this spider have. And I also want to point out that tarantulas use webs for a lot of different things. So of course they use it to, sense predators or to catch prey, to sense vibrations and stuff like that. But they use it for several other things. So females will use their webs to make their egg sac when they lay eggs. So they'll wrap them all up and lay a lot of silk down and make this big, beautiful egg sac ball type thing. Kind of looks like a ping pong ball. So they'll use their webs for that. They also use their webs to tidy up their space and to wrap up their food. So for them, you know, webs are more of like a housekeeping thing too. I know that I've definitely seen Spidey allocate certain, like if she does eat, in the rare times that she eats, I've definitely seen her wrap up her food and like put it in a nice little neat ball and like put it in one area of her tank. And I think a lot of tarantulas do that. They're very tidy. So for them, their webs is like really like a housekeeping thing, and it's also like a customization thing. I know that when Spidey lays webs in a certain area of her tank, she is planning on staying there for a good bit. She really likes to lay on her webs and to kind of like reap the benefits of her hard work. Tarantulas also do molting mats. So I said before that Spidey's webs are not very thick, but when she makes a molting mat, it is the complete opposite. She will be working very hard on this nonstop for several hours, and her molting mat will be like layers and layers and layers of silk. And it'll be very, very thick and visible. So a lot of tarantulas, even if they're not heavy webbers to begin with, when they molt, it's a different story. And another type of web is a sperm web, which is what male tarantulas make when they've reached maturity. It's a special kind of web that they will use to deposit sperm onto their palpal bulbs, and that is going to kind of load them up and get them ready for when they actually do get the chance to mate with a female. So for newcomers to the hobby, I just want you to know, don't stress about it. I know that getting a new pet can be kind of exciting and scary and confusing, but you know, just do your research and don't stress about it too much. Don't be discouraged or disappointed because your tarantula isn't making webs the way you thought they would. In many cases, it's perfectly normal tarantula behavior for your species of tarantula. And it's also about managing your expectations as well. All tarantulas are different. You know, you might even have a tarantula who's supposed to be a heavy webber, and for whatever reason, they just don't. They don't make many webs as you thought that they would. And that doesn't mean there's anything necessarily wrong with them. We have to accept the beautiful personalities of the spiders that we have and their quirks and their behaviors like any other pet. So, you know, a lot of times it doesn't mean that there's anything medically wrong with your tarantula. A lot of times it's just a matter of them getting used to it, or, you know, going through behavioral patterns where, you know, they might not web during some times of the year, and then, you know, they molt and then they're acting a little bit differently. So, you know, it's all about observing your pet and kind of taking note of things, but not putting pressure on the animal and not putting pressure on yourself because you're stressing out so much about your tarantula and what it is or isn't doing compared to other tarantulas. So anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that it kind of took some stress away from people who are worried about this or have been worried about this. If you have any other advice about webs for beginners, that would be super helpful if you left them in a comment so we can keep educating people about tarantulas and their behaviors and stuff. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.